So about a year ago, I manifested my quote-unquote dream job, which is something I was thinking about for like 6 or 7 years, and here it is. Now a year later, contrast has taught me I think I'm going to leave it and actually leave New York City and go home. So this has been in my mind for 6 months, and I'm wondering if
Did the job, does it leave you in a different place than you were when you got there?
Definitely.
Are you in a more decided place than you were when you got there?
Decided? No, because I haven't made a decision for my next phase, I guess, or...
Well, think about it. Why are you leaving?
I want to go home.
But why do you want to go home?
I want family and friends.
But why do you want family and friends?
I think it'll make me happy.
But why do you want family and friends and to be happy? Because not having family and friends doesn't feel good, so it helps you to focus more. And so now you are focused more, and so you do know something more in a stronger way than you've ever known it before. You are in a different place. You are in a stronger place of attraction than you were before. So since there is no regression, there's no stepping back. Your dream job didn't fail you. It just propelled you in a direction differently than you thought it would, but it did clarify some things for you, and so you're stronger and in a better place now than you were before. Do you know that? Can you know that? We know that. Do you know that?
Yeah, I mean, the family, friends first is new, and I think that's, of course, more important. And it's just, so yeah, it's just, I guess it just pivoted.
Well, now,
in a
so
new
we have some
direction.
questions for you. This is something that you may be getting at. Have you heard us pretty well today? Have you been following the things that we've been talking about the receiving mode? And can you accept that in all waking moments that you are in the receiving mode of something? Your receiver is turned on and you are in the receiving mode of something. And so you may be receiving from your inner being. That's what we've been talking about. Or you may be receiving from a stream of consciousness of man's spin-off thought. There are lots of thought patterns around. There are a lot of broadcasters around. There are a lot of voices around and opinions around and rivers of opinions around. So there's a lot of broadcasting. Source is beaming at a very high frequency, and it's a very strong signal. But if you're not in the vicinity of it, you could be picking up on some other things. And so one of the things that Esther has been doing a lot recently, as we've been really emphasizing getting into this receiving mode, and she's been deliberately doing it through meditation and enjoying the moment that a new thought drops in and acknowledging that this new thought is definitely a thought that I am definitely receiving, no matter how mundane it seems to be. This is a reception of source energy. So Esther's been asking herself the question a lot as a strong thought comes. Oh, what receiving mode am I in? Am I picking up on some long-time vulnerability that I've felt and I just got in the vicinity? Or am I receiving from source? So we just want to step back just a little bit from everything that you told us before and that we said back. We just want to ask you the question, does it feel to you like the idea to leave this job came from source, or do you think you were receiving from someplace else when that thought came?
Honestly, a mixture of both.
Well, maybe, but which does it feel like? Is this source knowing where you are in relationship to what you want and giving you very strong impulses? Was it an impulse that when it came, did it feel like elation or did it feel like relief? Did it feel like bouncing off the wall enthusiasm, like you have to do this, like nobody's going to stop you from it, or like you need to justify what you're doing and sort of defend your decision to do it? Which did it feel like?
It feels better when I think of home.
Well, we're asking you some very specific questions. Yeah. Does it feel like yes, or does it feel like Does it feel like relief, or does it feel like the answer to your greatest dream?
Oh God, I want to stay closer to the elation, but now that you're saying this, maybe it is relief, because
it is for sure, and the reason that it is because it didn't come from meditation, it didn't come from alignment, it didn't come from strong asking, it didn't come from the receptive mode. It came from your attention to things that aren't working, and your attention to loneliness, and your attention to that, and so you were in the receiving mode of something else.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure. Now, it doesn't mean that it's wrong in this sense. You can't get it wrong, and you never get it done. And so we're not for a moment saying don't do it, but what we are saying is don't do it. What we are saying is get into the best feeling place. In other words, meditate and follow that.
Can I say something?
Yes, of course. You're in charge of you.
So I meditate every morning and at night. It's something I've been doing for a long time. I've been listening to you for a while. So every morning when I've meditated and I'm listening to you on my way to work, like I'm feeling really good. And I think about going home as like, it's like home version 2, where it just feels really good.
Before you go further, because we're sort of getting into a spiral here, we want to ask you, you said something really important when you first sat down. You said, I thought I was going to my quote, quote, dream job. So what's not so dreamy about it?
Like I work from 9 a.m. to like 9 p.m. and I'm like, I think the work-life balance is the biggest thing. So would you say it's difficult for you to stay in the receiving mode under these conditions? Yeah.
It's like too many jets are flying over.
Yeah.
So you want to go somewhere where there are not so many jets flying over, and you think you can get into the receiving mode better. And we want to say, get into the receiving mode anyway. Because the thing is, if you go somewhere else because you're unhappy with where you are, you take yourself with you. You see, during all of that, you've practiced a point of attraction, and you're going to take that point of attraction with you. And you believe that when you get home, where everybody loves you and where it feels more friendly and everything, that you'll feel different, and you will to some extent, but your vibration will not change enough to make a really big difference. Plus, now you're taking new vibrations with you, like I thought it was my dream job and it didn't turn out to be. You're compounding some things that will work against you a little longer. Are you following us a little bit?
I think I got a little confused with what that last line was.
It seems like that under the conditions that you're currently living, that if you change those conditions, remember we talked about unconditional? Well, this is conditional. If you could change those conditions, that then the new conditions would cause you to feel better. And in some regards, you would feel a little better. But now there are other conditions that you have also changed that will make you feel worse. Like, I tried and it didn't work out. I thought it was my dream job and it wasn't. You've picked up some things along your physical trail that are still with you and still part of your point of attraction. That if you can release them where you stand, rather than migrate to a new place where you try to release them, because if you migrate, you won't release them. Do you hear that? If you conditionally go do something, then the condition is different and you're stuck with the vibration that you picked up that will rear its uncomfortable head again.
Yeah.
Usually pretty soon. That was really good. Everybody really gets that. So when you think about it, what you want is to feel good. And you believe that you'll feel better when you go home. But why not want to feel good and want to feel good wherever you are? Why not decide that you can feel better where you are? Why not decide that you can feel good even though the workload is more than you want it to be? Why not decide that you can focus upon other factors that allow you to feel good? Why not feel good? Why not just get so good at what you're doing that you feel so good about what you're accomplishing, and then feeling good, if you want to, go home?
Yeah, and I know, like I know it's a conditional thing, and I know that is something I, in each moment, am trying to do.
I know that it's what I usually do, and I know it's what everybody else does, but are you sure you want to do it now? Because nothing will change if you do that.
No, it's actually what got me into this job. I remember I was in that state in my old job where I was like the happiest, and I was like, yeah, and I was just a light to be around, and everyone was wonderful. Like I was seeing people differently. It was great. And then, I segued into the next thing, and I know that was part of it. I guess it's just this desire feels so strong. It's been here for a while, and I used to thrive. I used to be in New York City not knowing.
Say it again. Ooh. This desire meaning?
The desire to leave and to go home.
But hear this. The desire to not be here is not that great of a desire. It's sort of a knee-jerk response to unwanted things. Now, I know what I don't want, so I know what I do want. But when you know what you don't want and you know what you do want, you throw what you do want into the vortex, your inner being mixes what you now do want with all the other things that you have wanted, and there were reasons that you didn't stay home that are in there too. Uh-oh. You see what we're getting at? As you've lived life, you put independence, you put new experience, you put adventure, you put creativity.
Oh yeah,
you put all of that in there, and now you're
like,
saying, I want to take that out, and I want to take that out,
yes,
I want to take
yes,
that
that's
out,
exactly
and I
what's
just want to go home.
That's exactly what's happening.
Well,
I got everything I asked for. This job is ridiculous and it's insane, and the people around me are insane. The greatest manifestor I've ever seen is my boss. Everything, the slightest desire, boom, there it is, yesterday, the day before.
All the things that you've been asking for right under your nose.
Yeah, and I hate
So what's the rub? What is the rub? So take a minute and figure it out. In other words, what you want is there. So what is so big, bad, and awful? What new things have you thrown into this vortex as a result of being there? That's really what we want to know. We really want to know what has being there caused you to now ask for. Because it's caused you to ask for some things that will take you someplace else, but going home isn't the answer. It isn't the taking you someplace else. That's a futile and erroneous and flawed attempt at regression, which doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like I amended all of those desires to be like, and now I want this on a smaller scale and bring like this huge community that we're making and be a smaller community on a beach rather than like in all of these cities, and being entrepreneurial with my brother rather than with this person.
Maybe. You get what we're getting at, don't you? What we're getting at is when the decision is to just jump into action from a receiving mode that was clearly not your inner being. Because if it were your inner being, you'd be feeling breathless about it. You'd be feeling so exhilarated about it, and you don't feel that way about it. And so why not stick around, throw some more things into the vortex, meditate, and get to that place where you receive that impulse from source and see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. And is that like, so New York used to make me feel like fire, and I would not even know why I was there, but I'm like, but I just know this is it. And that is gone. I walk around the city and I feel like it's dead, which I know is in me, but I really feel like that is something
sometimes
palpable.
People say to us, I'm unhappy in this relationship, or I'm unhappy in this. They say, should I leave it? And we always say, well, yeah, but if you're leaving that because there are things you don't like, then you better get out of town too. And then you better get off this planet too. Now we don't know where to send you. In other words, that's not a good reason for going someplace else. It's so much better to stay where you are and regain your alignment and then than to lose your alignment and move.
Yeah.
Because in all of this that you're telling us, oh, this is such a wonderful contrasting thing that has put so much in your vortex. And we want you to reap the benefit of what you've put there. And instead you're saying, not only do I not feel like reaping the benefit of what I've just put there, I want to take out some of the things I put there earlier. And we say, you're attempting something that you cannot succeed at. You're not going to be happy trying to go back to something else. You've always got to move forward. Is it possible that forward is moving back to the same place? That is possible, but that's not what's happening energetically here.
Okay. So just keep doing what I'm doing and meditate and have fun and release needing to go to the gym.
Say to yourself, I'm in a data collection mode and I'm putting all kinds of new desires in my vortex. So let's talk about the new desires. So you like adventure and you wanted to be up close to somebody who was really a good creator, and so many of those things happen. And you wanted to be in this beautiful city with so many possibilities and all of that. And so now let's talk about the new desires that are there. You want more control of your own time. You want more control of the things that you do in a day. You want a greater sense of what you are doing, meaning. You don't just want to be a cog in a wheel. You want to be able to have a bigger impact of what's going on. In other words, you've launched a lot of rockets that are going to serve you so well. But when you decide that you're in a wrong place and that you've made wrong decisions, you put yourself in a place that you cannot reap the benefit of all that you've decided. We want you to get in sync with your inner being. And so since your vortex has expanded, what do you think about letting yourself, through meditation and through appreciation, but mostly through meditation, just get up to speed with what you've put into your vortex? And when you do, you will not feel disappointed.